Boop. Um, Josh, how's that stretch going? Just kidding. No, go ahead, man. Do your thing. So, Paul and April couldn't make it tonight. Beth and her husband Brent, like I don't know where they are. Yeah.
Somewhere on Earth.
Right? Like Holly hasn't made it in a couple weeks, so Holly, hi. Good to see you. You should come back. We're waiting. And then so they're, we're getting to week 8 now. So hopefully you've had, literally 7 weeks of meditation. 2 times a day, 10 minutes. I'm looking at you.
I'd be lying if I said I did every single one.
Yeah. So has anybody done every one? Like, you've been able to?
I've said for a few times I was able to do only 5 minutes.
So a little 5-minute quick meditation, yeah.
2 or 3 times.
Okay.
But I would be late tomorrow.
All right.
Question.
Yeah.
So, if you're not able to, say, do the morning or either one of the meditations, like
Yeah.
whatever, is there a way? Do you find a way that you can make that up during the day if you don't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't sit like, right when you wake up or something like that, or let's say, I don't know, there's been times before where I have to catch a 6 a.m. flight, right? And so I have to be up at 4:30 to get that 6 a.m. flight, and my alarm doesn't go off and whatever. And so I have to be out the door to get that flight. I can meditate on the plane. Like I could meditate, later on that day when I got to my destination, or I'm sitting there. So it's not like, if you miss a session, like don't get all butthurt about it and start to beat yourself up over it. But like make it up as soon as you can. I was listening to a really good podcast today, and he was talking to a meditation teacher and asking kind of like, all right, like what is the minimum effective dose for meditation? And like through my experience, like of practicing, I've sort of come upon like, okay, 10 minutes a day, once in the morning, once at night, or kind of 20 minutes all at once has been pretty much the minimum effective dose. I like to break it up 10 minutes and 10 minutes because I feel like I get better sort of bookends of that. And as Rachel will tell you, like those 10 minutes of sitting before bed can really improve sleep quality. And then that 10 minutes that you sit when you first wake up really sets your outlook for the day. So that's why I recommend, but they did research out of, I forget, some, school on the East Coast up in Boston or something. And they said that 9 minutes a day is the minimum where they actually see changes in the brain, in MRIs and in brain function. So, but that's done consistently. Like over the course of like a month or two, they actually see changes in the brain at 9 minutes a day. So, we do a little extra, right? Get 10 minutes, do it morning, do it night because of those reasons. And the other thing that they talked a lot about in this podcast that I really liked was they said sort of like, it's kind of like if you start taking a medication, like you might not notice it right away, but the people around you will notice it first, right? And so if you're taking something to correct your mood or something along those lines, like you might not notice that right away, but the people around you will notice it. Or if you're drunk, like you might not notice that you're drunk, but the people around you will notice that you're drunk. And so it's the same with the meditation. Like even though your meditation may not be like improving and getting better, I can almost guarantee if you ask the people around you, like, hey, have you noticed anything different about me over the past like 8 weeks? I guarantee you they would be like, yeah, you seem more present, you seem more calm, you seem less stressed. or maybe more stressed. I don't know what the case may be. Hopefully, it's less stressed. Hopefully, this hasn't brought up too much for you. But, you know, even though you may not be doing all the sessions, like this is still having an impact, I hope. Yeah? I see some head nods. Yeah, you do them every day.
I know.
You have no choice.
I have to.
I know. I'm sorry. What's up?
You don't like brush your teeth
Before I sit? No. I usually don't even get out of, well, I sometimes get out of bed before I sit, but just to go to the bathroom. And then I come back and I sit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like right away. First thing I do, last thing I do. Every day, rest of my life. It'll be great. I love it.
Is it okay if you do it when you just wake up, just lay in bed?
Ye don't lay down though. That's not meditating. That's called hitting the snooze button. There's a difference.
But I'm trying to wake up, like I could use it to wake up.
Yeah, but you sit up, right? No, see, that's so you can't set the snooze button for 10 minutes and hit it and that's your meditation. That does not count. That does not count for the day. you have to sit up. Yeah, you have to sit up. Like that's my one, I think that's the one thing that in my practice, you know, if I'm laying down, it's a totally different experience than if I'm sitting up. Yeah.
So it changes your diaphragm, how it moves.
Right. And it's like Shavasana versus meditation, right? Like one's deeply relaxing and can be very meditative, but to me it's not meditation. Right? In meditation, I'm up and I'm present, right? And then I'm breathing and I'm like, for some reason, like being upright is like being in the world, right? Laying down is kind of being back in your space, right? And in that sleep space, in that unconscious space. I want you more in the conscious space. Maybe one day we'll do a workshop on sleep and dreams, but that'll be a ways away. Yeah. Cool. What else? How's your alignment? Michael can't find his. Can we help him? Yeah? What did you struggle with?
With understanding what Basuvan even is.
How so?
Just didn't get it.
Did you watch the video?
Most of it. I watched the first 20 minutes up until, I mean, it sounded like I should be able to get it by then.
Right, right.
But I didn't quite get like what you're talking about. Like,
Sure.
It's almost like I want either kind of like a theorized explanation of what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I understand is hard to do because you were like referring to like hard to find words to describe.
Sure, sure.
Or like examples of what that could be
Yeah.
in your life.
Let's say I took I don't know, like you were in a bathtub and I took a toaster and like dropped it in there, right? And you would get like zapped. You'd get this like energy that like went through your body. That's what I want you to find, right?
You want to check? You want to like get it open?
You know that? You're not there yet.
We can do it with fan.
But that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is it should feel like an energy, like an electricity that's flowing through your body, right?
Like you knowing what you want, or what is it? Alignment.
It's not aligned with anything. That's the beauty of it. It's completely unconditional. It has nothing to do with how much money I have, what I want, what my parents want, right? Like what kind of shape I'm in, whether I'm sick, whether I have cancer, right? It has nothing to do with that. It's completely unconditional.
Can you describe yours in words? Like,
No.
what is it like?
Absolutely not. Nor would I even ever try.
It's just that.
I could describe it in words. It's like butterflies kissing unicorns on rainbows. With, right? with the little Lucky Charms elf dancing around, saying, "Not me, Lucky Charms."
It's just that I don't know. Like, basically from this description, I don't know whether we're talking about sex or football.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I don't even know what we're talking
Somewhere in the middle, and all of it at the same time, right? And this is you can't mentalize this, right? Remember, I think I said that in the video. I don't know if I did, but if you're looking at this through your mental eyes, like it's not gonna get there, right? You're gonna try and mentalize it. You're gonna try and theorize it, and it's gonna be abstract. It's not gonna be a visceral, guttural feeling of felt perception of energetic alignment, right? Where, in another way of putting it, there's a great Abhinavagupta in sort of yogic tradition. He would say, like, there's no, and I may be misquoting him, but there's no distance between your intention and your action, right? Like that's energetic alignment. And to be there, the acting part isn't that hard. It's being on top of that intention all the time, right? And that's what we've worked on in a lot of the previous weeks. Is like, if I have emotional residue and I have defense mechanisms and control mechanisms built up, right, I won't know my intention, right? My intention will be clouded. It will be somewhat hidden. I might not know exactly what my intention is in that moment. And so it's always hard to energetically align if I don't know what my intention is, right? If I'm not carrying that intention, and going back to, if I'm not carrying that authenticity with me all the time, if that's not kind of this number one priority in my life, is to really be operating from a place of presence, then how am I ever going to align myself and have no gap between my intention and my action, right? And I'm definitely not perfect at that, right? I'm still a work in progress in terms of getting to the point where my intention and my actions really align wholly 100% of the time. I still have a lot of defense mechanisms. I still have a lot of control mechanisms, right? Like I'll watch TV, right? I know I could be doing things, right? I could be working on more content for the class. I could be doing work. I could be writing. I could be reading. But it's like, oh, I'll just watch TV right now. And then I'll hear the little voice in my back of my head, like, go write, you know? And I'm like, I'll write later, right? I'll just sit there and watch TV. And then later on, I'll feel like, and then I'll go eat some terrible food, right? Because I already feel bad for myself. And I'll be like, all right, I've already like ignored myself once. Like, why don't I just ignore myself again? Right? Why don't I just ignore myself again and again? Because a lot of people have ignored me in my life, right? A lot of people have said, there's been many people that have supported me, but most people like are not able to support you. They're in and of themselves struggling to find their authenticity. And so it's like, when you start to find that, and when you start to build that, and you start to grow with that, that's where you're going to start to see, okay, now I'm in alignment, right? When I start saying yes, to myself, I'm going to start seeing myself coming more and more into alignment. Right? Maybe.
Well, sorry. Well, isn't that saying, now I don't want to do this thing, I just want to go get a drink, or
Yeah.
that's also alignment, right? Because that's also what you want.
It depends on how it feels, right?
I just yeah.
It depends on how it feels, because it doesn't, I mean, it's like this, like, does it feel good in the moment to do that? Yeah, right? Because it takes the pressure off, right? It takes the pressure off and you relieve the stress a little bit, but in the long run, does it leave you fulfilled? No. And this is how people get into addiction, this is how people get into affliction, right? Is that like, I go for the short-term kind of like, sedation, right? The quick fix, rather than dealing with the discomfort and sitting with it and being with it, and then finding what's true for me and operating from there. And so, like it's true, right? It's valid. It's an experience that you're having. But is it truly authentic? Right? And I should break down that word for you, right? To me, authentic means awe, then tick. Right? So if I'm in awe at the world and the universe and what's happening to me, and I'm completely enamored with it, and then I tick, right? And then I move, and then I do the next thing, that's authentic. Awe, then tick. Right? But if I'm operating out of like, oh, work is so difficult, like, fucking Tom, right? Like, like, Tom, don't watch this. I will edit that out. So, fucking Tom, like, I'm so sick of him. Oh my God, like, I'm just gonna go get wasted, right? I'm just gonna go get drunk, right? That's not authentic. I'm sorry. Like,
Can you then make the decision or the difference between that you're gonna go get a drink or
Yeah.
because you're angry or frustrated
Sure.
versus genuinely just enjoying a glass of wine with your family and friends.
Yeah.
And that's a celebration.
Authentic.
So that's authentic. So it's
If
not
you're
necessarily-
authentic, absolutely.
Right.
But if you're enjoying a glass of wine with your family, you're like, Mom, give me more wine. Right?
No, not at all like that.
But no, yeah.
General celebration.
Absolutely.
You know.
And drugs and those things, get all wrapped up in all kinds of, really really destructive patterns in many ways, right? But at the same time, they're beautiful things.
Right.
It-
It doesn't
w-
always have to mean something negative.
No, not at all.
Wine or
Not at all.
whatever. I mean,
No.
or a
Sex,
cheeseburger or
food,
whatever, right?
spending
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
work,
Right.
the gym,
Right.
yoga, right? Meditation, driving, right? Like, all of these things can be good or bad.
Right.
All of these things can be authentic or inauthentic,
Right.
right? It's just a matter of where is it coming from. You know what I mean? And to me, that, like, if you can have that clarity and you can have that alignment, right? You will always be in this place where you can take it or leave it,
Right.
right?
It's kind of like when you went to watch TV. Maybe you just generally needed a break. Just not,
Sometimes I do,
right?
Right.
And not feel like,
Yep.
but then you felt,
but sometimes I don't,
right.
right? Sometimes it's a pattern where, oh, I've used this because I need a break. I'm feeling stressed. I'm going to use this rather than dealing with that stress, right? Rather than dealing with that discomfort in a different way.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I get it.
Yeah.
It's
No.
just like I genuinely enjoy a show,
Right.
and that's different. I'm not
Sure.
using it to get away from stress. I'm just
No.
looking forward to
No.
sitting down and watching this
Right.
event or show or whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Versus, like, I really need to, do my taxes, and the new season of Archer is out, and I'm just gonna watch the new season of Archer, right? Do I enjoy Archer? Absolutely. Fantastic show, right? But do I need to do my taxes? Absolutely. And it's just that, that's why there's no hard and fast rule. And there's nothing I can give you, Michael, that's like, oh, it should be this, right? If you feel this thing at this moment, like, that means that you're in energetic alignment, right?
Texas are fine.
Yeah, good. That's excellent. Good. But to be in that energetic alignment is, again, like knowing, how do you know a stove's hot, right? Like, how do you, there's like, you feel these things, you sense them. And it's one thing to say like, oh, okay, like if all of this stuff is right in the outer world, I will then feel like myself. Right? It's another thing to say, I don't give a shit what's going on out there. Not that I don't give a shit. Like, I definitely give a shit what's going on out there. But regardless of what is going on out there, I am going to cultivate a quality within me that is truly me. Regardless. Right? And whatever comes my way, I will use that as a barometer and as an informant of a reflection of what else I need to do and how else I need to align myself energetically to evolve and to grow and develop as a human being and to fulfill myself and to remain authentic.
Jeez.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. That's it. No big deal. No big deal. That and a 500-pound deadlift and I'm good.
That's the easy shit.
Yeah, right? The 500-pound deadlift's the easy part of that one. But is the deadlift authentic? Was that an authentic deadlift?
Depends on the state of your taxes, I guess.
Yeah.
So you were talking about action versus intention. I mean, I know this situation where I kind of like know that I have to do that, but in a way I procrastinate and don't do it.
Yeah.
So are you saying that the state of energetic alignment has anything to do with me reaching to the point where I no longer go through this, here's what I have to do, but I don't?
Absolutely.
Is that about that?
Absolutely.
Is it about me doing what I know I need to do?
Just boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
No, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No gaps. No gaps between the intention and the action. It's just like that.
How do you cultivate that?
Practice. Lots of practice.
Yeah.
Like what you know, what you kind of need to do.
So yeah, you just do a lot of self-examination. I mean, and this is like I've definitely done this over many years, but you know when you're procrastinating, and you can tell yourself, all right, I'm gonna let it go, or you can say, no, I'm gonna go do it, and then I'll do the thing I want to do afterward. And it's 100% practice.
Yeah, it's a muscle, right? See, the whole thing about meditation is that it's not about like when you're sitting, like it's not about stopping your thoughts. It's about noticing your thoughts have wandered and coming back. It's building the coming back muscle. That's what you're really doing, right? Your thoughts can wander that entire thing. But if on that 9th moment in that 59th second, you bring yourself back, that's a successful meditation, right? So A+.
And Jeff, is that the same skill you're looking to build when life shows up? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same, it's mindfulness kind of through and through. Like, the beauty of this program is I'm teaching you probably 5 or 6 different forms of meditation in one class. So we're going through different forms of meditation: single-pointedness, sensation, mantra, open-mindedness, right? We'll emotional processing. We'll go through a few more in the next few weeks. But each of those like has its own flavor and contributes to overall being more present, right? That's really what it's about. And then being in that situation where, rather than it taking me, let's say, 15 pieces of candy before I realized that I'm binging on candy because I don't want to clean the house, it only takes me 3 pieces of candy, right? And then all of a sudden, it doesn't take me any pieces of candy to realize that, right, I just need to clean the fucking house. And the beauty of it is, right, if I'll talk a little bit about this tonight as we go more into the topic, but if I can actually get in the space of what are the things in my life that are positive triggers, right, to get me into action, right? So that's aligning yourself energetically. Like, what do I know that supports my action, that supports my authenticity, right? Is that reading certain books? Is that listening to certain, talks or podcasts? Is that listening to certain music? Is that doing certain movements, right, that will help me get into that? Is that writing things down, right? Whatever that case may be. But if I can start to, infuse those things more into my life, because I become more present. I see that when I am effective, I'm doing these types of things. I'm eating healthy. I'm going to the gym. I'm getting enough rest. I'm saying yes to myself, right? With the very little things. Did I call my mom, right? Did I reach out to that friend that I haven't talked to? Did I talk to that person that I saw in the dream the other night? Right? Did I give them a buzz and drop them a line? Right? That really starts to put me in a different space, so that then, this is all building towards the kind of experiencing magic, right? Where things just start to come together in my life and this magic begins to happen, and I begin to be aligned energetically. I don't have any distance between my ego identity and myself, right? Those things collapse in on one another. And if you've seen the talks by Jim Carrey, they're fantastic. Like, he does a great job of identifying this. It's funny because I'm like, yeah, Jim, you're still just like, you're just scratching the surface with this. Like, this is great. But he's like, what is this Jim Carrey? Like, what is this character that I've developed? Like, I'm living completely free from that now. And each and every moment, I am just creating, right? I am just creating that which is, right? And whatever strikes me in that moment, whatever evolves in that moment, I will express and explore, right? That's such a beautiful thing. That's such a beautiful place to live from. Like, that is not what you thought when you woke up this morning. I can guarantee it, right? I mean, I can't guarantee it, but I'll bet. I'll put money on it. So, go ahead.
My question, or maybe it's going to be a statement, is referring to your internal intention versus something that is externally pushed onto you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm bringing this, us back to the example of you cleaning the house. So if you internally want to go and clean the house, and something stops you from doing that, I can see how that is some sort of energy misalignment, right? When you genuinely internally want to go clean the house, and that's what you intend to do, but something stops you from doing this.
Perfect.
Now take another example. Rachel comes to you and says, "Jeff, dude, like, you gotta clean this fucking house, like today."
Yeah.
And you're like, you internally don't feel the need to clean the house. It's not your intention. It's not yours. And this is only an example. That can be your boss coming to you, giving you a task, your mother calling you, saying that you owe her something, you need to go do while you're like, hey, I don't like owe anybody anything, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like, where something that's pushed on you and you don't want to do it and you procrastinate, is that also misalignment? Like, any thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. So, to this week's topic. Thank you, Michael. So, this week's topic, what's required is received. Memorize it. Write it down. Write it down. What's required is received. So, I'll break this down for you. So, your question was, I'll give you a great example. Friday afternoon, right? 3:30, right? Jeff designed a new revenue recognition process. Put that shit in place. 3:30, revenue's in. Done. So I think. Tom. Tom says the bill doesn't match. I'm like, okay. So